You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Hello, and thanks for joining Revolution 250, where we look at events that took place 250 years ago this week. This is from the American Revolution Podcast, a short bonus episode to remind you about these important anniversaries from the Revolutionary War. This week, we remember the court-martial of Benjamin Church, which rendered its decision at the end of October 1775. Dr. Benjamin Church was a successful physician and surgeon when the war began. He was the son of a prominent Boston merchant, and his family had been in Boston for quite some time. His great-grandfather and namesake, Colonel Benjamin Church, had played a prominent role in King Philip's War a century earlier. In the years leading up to the Revolutionary War, Dr. Church became a rather prominent leader in the Patriot cause. Dr. Church had performed an autopsy on Crispus Attucks and treated several other wounded in the Boston Massacre. In 1773, he had given the oration for the anniversary of the massacre. In 1774, Church was elected as a delegate to the Massachusetts Provincial Congress and became a member of the Committee of Safety. He served as a leading patriot in the new government and was privy to some of its most confidential information. Shortly after the Battle of Lexington and Concord, Church returned to British-occupied Boston, where he later claimed he was arrested and later released. He then traveled to Philadelphia to consult with the Continental Congress and became a Director General for the new Continental Army. In short, he was a key leader in the Patriot movement. It turned out, however, that Church had also been corresponding with the British commander, Thomas Gage. In July of 1775, Church left a letter in cipher with a prostitute who had been the lover of a British officer named Major Kane. When the woman sought help trying to get the message into Boston, the man she asked to help turned it over to General Washington. Washington ordered the woman interrogated, and she eventually confessed that the letter came from Dr. Church. The Continentals quickly deciphered the letter, which provided the British with military intelligence about the strength of the Continental forces. Church admitted that the letter was his, but he claimed that he was trying to provide the British with disinformation. He had greatly exaggerated the numbers of Continentals and the level of arms and supplies that they had. Church claimed that he hoped the information would discourage the British from trying to make another offensive. General Washington ordered a court-martial, but that raised a whole host of legal questions. First, the Continental Congress had not passed any laws against treason. Massachusetts had a treason law on the books, but it defined treason as defying the king. So, if anything, Church was working for the king, at least more so than any of his accusers. Even if there had been a treason law, many were divided on whether Church was a traitor or just an idiot. For the moment, the court-martial simply ordered Church confined until the Continental Congress could decide what to do with him. Next, the Massachusetts House of Representatives, which had recently replaced the Provincial Congress, began proceedings against Church. Again, he argued he was just passing along misinformation in an attempt to force Gage into peace negotiations. The House did not buy his story. It ruled that, although he was in military custody, if he was ever released, he would be held for trial in Massachusetts. The Continental Congress formally removed Church as physician-in-chief of the Army. As I said, because there was no valid treason or espionage law on the books at the time, Church was simply found guilty of corresponding with the enemy. He was held in custody and for a time was sent to a prison in Connecticut. Finally, in 1778, he was exchanged for an American doctor who had been captured by the British. Massachusetts, however, ordered him expelled from the state. At that point, Church boarded a ship for the West Indies. But that ship never arrived anywhere. It went missing in the Bermuda Triangle, and Church was never heard from again. Now, his family, which had not been on that ship with Church, eventually made it to London, where his widow was given a pension for Church's service to the crown. Disputes over whether Church was a traitor or just an arrogant fool continued. More than 100 years after his death, historians finally made public General Thomas Gage's private records, which proved that Church had been feeding accurate intelligence to the British for months before his capture. I hope you've enjoyed this Revolution 250 moment. I originally covered these events in episode 73 of the American Revolution podcast. I encourage you to subscribe for free on whatever podcast platform you like, or you can listen to individual episodes on my blog at blog.amrevpodcast.com. Thanks again for listening to this Revolution 250 moment on the American Revolution podcast.